Check. What's good? So we are in here again for another episode of Expansion Pack. I am your host, Dan F. Man. As you can see, I got my Boom Shakalaka shirt on today in commemoration of the game I'm about to play, NBA Jam. If you didn't know, let me get my music straight back in here. Hold on, wait 1 second. Okay, that's cool. All right, so. Oh, I get it. All right, so you are in here with me, Dan F. Man, on another episode of Expansion Pack. Let me hear that music. I know it is playing for y'all, but I don't hear it. So let me get it playing for me real quick. All right, there you go. Now, we do got that music playing, but I'm gonna have some I'm gonna have the NBA Jam sounds in the background for this one today. Oh, and yeah, the weather is going down. All type of warnings telling me don't leave where I'm at, basically, unless I have to. So, like I said, we in here today on Expansion Pack for our Thursday mental health talk. I am your host, Dan F. Man, and if you want to get this shirt right here that I got on, you go over to Monksee, MONKSEE. I'm gonna flash it here on the screen. I'm gonna flash it on the screen here in a couple seconds. You can go over there and you can grab you one of these shirts, whatever shirt you buy. It does help DGTA TV out over here. I'll get that affiliate link out to you in the chat sometime here in the future. But for right now, go get you one of these. Even if you don't, go check it out. And like I said, I have my affiliate link for you here sometime in the future. So now that I done started on my promotion kick, let me up it up a bit. Let me let y'all see a different variation of this thing right here. Get my stuff out the way. Pull my little table over here. Got that squared away. Make sure I got my chats up. All right, there we go. Hey family, what's good? What's up, Zanita67? Glad to have you in here with us today. As you can see, we just now getting started. I'm letting everybody trickle in while I get myself situated over here. Now, as I do get myself situated over here, I'm gonna let y'all see a different variation of this shirt right here that I got on. Let me switch over, and then I'm gonna flash the website on the screen. You can go check it out for yourself and all of the other clothes that they got available. Hey, what's up, Odessa DW? I'm pretty sure that's you out there. Let me make sure. Let me double check. I ain't got my glasses on, and I ain't sitting right up on the screen, so I'm gonna pull my chat up on my laptop right here though. So let me switch over, let y'all see this other variation of this shirt right here. Post it up right here next to me in the chair. Hope y'all can see that. Oh, yeah, my music went away now. I guess I didn't put the music in this scene. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna throw the music back in here. There we go. It's gonna block me out for a second, but I'll be right back. There go our music back. Stuff around be so hard sometime on this program. There we go. Just getting it to shift down is a challenge. Yeah. So like I said, you can go get you one of these Boom Shakalaka shirts from the website you see right here on your screen. Monk C. That's MONKSEE if you can only listen. That's monkc.com. This is in commemoration of NBA Jam. I got one of my man's Jason, and he hollered at me and was like, yo, I got a shirt for you because I know you play the game. And he used to play NBA Jam back in the day heavy on the arcade, in the arcade. So he made the shirt. He designed the shirt. He was like, yo, I want you to have it. I got mine. Y'all go over to monkc.com and y'all can grab y'all's too. So today we will be talking about mental health, strength, the strength side of mental health. Now, last week we talked about endurance, and we talked about ways where you can increase that your endurance by getting those reps. You get them reps in. This week we're going to talk about strength, how you can get a little stronger in your mental health. How you can go a little bit further with your mental health. So, well, as we go further into the topic of mental health. Now, first of all, if anybody is still out there in the chat, let me know. Hit me up and let me know what language y'all might like to hear today. Yesterday we did Japanese. That's cool. Give me something else today if you want to hear something specific. If you don't mind, then hey, just be silent on it, I guess. But I'm gonna look up some definitions over here too as well. I'm gonna switch back to my one player screen. All right. So last week we did look up mental, and we did look up health. I forget what language we actually looked them up in, but I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna redefine them as again for this week. All right, so let's get this thing defined. All right, so mental I think it was relating to the mind, and then we define mind as the element of a person. Let me put my glasses on. The element of a person that enables them to be aware of the world and their experiences, to think and to feel. So I'm gonna read it one more time. The element, make sure my mic is not too low. The element of a person that enables them to be aware of the world and their experiences, to think and to feel. The faculty of consciousness and thought. So that is mental, that is mind. Now we're going to look up health one more time. and get those as our baseline. The state of being free of illness or injury. A person's mental or physical condition. All right, so what's that language? I think, so let me see it on my screen. Yep, Swahili. So we're going to do Swahili again. All right. Oh, that was, or was that the language from last week that we did? I think it was. It was, so let me look up health or mental. I forget what it was. Oh man. Oh, we did music in Swahili. I think we did music. So let me mute my TV if I can find my remote. Oh, it's in my pocket. Cool. All right, so this is DGTA TV. My bad. All right, so this is mental in Swahili. See if I can get it to play loud enough. Turn down the music for a second. All right, so this is mental in Swahili. Kiakili. 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 I like that. Kiakili. Kiakili. And I can always, I'm eventually set it up to where I look it up right here in front of you on the screen, but my bad. So mental in Swahili, let's get health in Swahili. Ooh, afya. I think that's, man, I'm gonna have to go over to, where they speak Swahili at. Okay, hold on. I ain't gonna get sidetracked, but I like the way that these words are. Afya. 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 So let's look up mental health in Swahili. Afya kiakili. Afya kiakili. That's how you say it. Afya kiakili. That's so cool right there. Like, oh man. All right, so I think that's so cool. I don't know if let me play it out loud. Afya yaki akili. Afya yaki akili. Afya yaki akili. Wish they would say it slower. Afya yaki akili. Afya yaki akili. Afya yaki akili. One more time. Afya yaki akili. Afya yaki akili. That's so cool right there. I like that one. So that's mental health for y'all in Swahili. So now let's talk about this for a little bit. So what we talking about, the aspect of it we talking about today, as I get into some of this NBA Jam, I'm gonna pause our sweet peaceful music and I'm gonna give y'all some of this NBA Jam music now. Afya Akili. Oh, the music is over here. So yeah, we're gonna cut off this and we're gonna get this. Where my controller at? Alright. Afya yaki akili. Afya yaki akili. So strength. Now, I really love the, hold on, let me turn my TV too. My bad, y'all. Afya kiakili. Afya kiakili. All right. So now, strength. I really like the examples that I give, the base examples that I give, but I really particularly like the ones that are nature based. When it comes to, let me see what options I got on this thing. All right, time of speed is normal. We're gonna do everything normal, I guess. Am I getting comments on Facebook? I hope not. Hold on, let me make sure before I go into what I was about to say. No comments on Facebook. Cool. So now I really like the nature-based examples that I give, particularly, how do you use that one? Particularly the ones that like are plants. Like you got EKP, TNT. Who the hell is EKP? All right, but it's especially the ones that are about nature. Sorry, I keep getting sidetracked. I'm trying to get myself set up in the game. So I'm gonna use one that's based on a plant at first, and then I'm gonna build off of that. It's the best way I can picture it in my mind to explain it. So the strength of the plant that wants to stand, that is standing on its own, comes from the stalk of the plant. Let me see how to say mental health in Swahili. Afya ya kiakili. Yep. Thanks. So the strength of the plant that wants to stand comes from the stalk or the shaft of the plant, or however you want to call it. And we're playing with Charlotte. Good morning, and Johnson. And the strength of the plant that is a vine, it has to be attached. It has to be attached to something in order for it to stand, to go up, and to continue to expand out. Man, he dunked on me. Let me get my button straight. Now, I got a sunflower in the backyard that my daughter gave me, and that sunflower is getting tall. When it started out, it was not that big. Dang. It was a little thing in the pot. But when I came out there the other day, it was tall. It was like from the pot to the top of the plant right now, it was as tall as I am, or maybe a little bit shorter than me, but it was standing on its own. It didn't need to get tied down, none of that. And that's amazing to me, because every time I've seen a sunflower, it's tall, and if it hasn't bloomed or it hasn't blossomed yet, there you go, boom shakalaka. If it hasn't bloomed or it hasn't blossomed yet, it's pretty strong. Like, it stands on its own. Now, when it starts to bloom or it starts to blossom, then it'll maybe droop over a little bit, because of the flower part of a sunflower is kind of heavy. And I had grew some at my house before in my yard, so I know how it looks. It looks really nice when they actually bloom. So, but the strength of it is what I want to focus on. It's strong enough to stand on its own. Now, you ever grew something or had a plant outside that you got to tie down because it's like kind of leaning over and whatnot? Now, it can grow to a certain height and not fall over, but once it get to that height and the flower on it or whatever's on it, it'll start to fall over, and you might have to tie it to something. It'll start to lean. You might have to pull it back the other way. Now, does it have the strength to grow on its own? Yes. Does it have the strength to stand on its own? Not necessarily, and that's the reason why you got to tie it down to something. Still learning these buttons on this game. Still, okay. There you go. Put that up. There you go. Now, we all need somebody to lean on. That's where I was going with that. But initially, we could see that we could stand or we could grow on our own. That's a given. But at sometimes you may need just a little bit of help and assistance to stand on your own. Now, we're talking about mental health and strength at this point. And the way that I refer to it is as a tree or a plant, the sunflower particularly, that's growing tall, but it's standing on its own. It starts to flower, it droops, but it's still standing on its own, and it's being supported by the stalk of the plant. The stem of the plant is what I'm looking for. Now, if it starts to droop, you tie it to something, it'll lean, but then it'll still grow on its own, tall enough and stand on its own. All right. Now, when we have the strength to grow on our own, and then we don't have the strength to grow on our own, whether or not we do or we don't, we're still going to grow. We may fall over. We may droop over. We may look for those things to lean on. We may come back from falling down. But that entire process is building your strength. Now, let's get back in the gym on this one. Now, we used our plant example, our natural example, but let's get back in the gym on this one. So how do you build strength in the gym? Well, it's the same way. Boom, shakalaka. It's the same. There you go. Good lay. It's the same way as you build endurance. Same way you build strength is the same way you build endurance. Let me see. Is that a new comment? Nope. So the same way you build strength is the same way you build endurance. You gotta get in there and get those reps. Now, when you're doing your strength training, however, you're not getting in there and you're saying, well, I'm gonna do lightweight, high reps. No. You getting in there, you're gonna do high weight. Oh, I think I might have said the same thing. So you're gonna get in there and you're gonna do high weight with an equal amount of reps, with an even amount of reps. You may do a moderate amount of weight with a moderate amount of reps. But what you're not going to do necessarily is do lightweight with high reps. That may build your strength over the time, but you got to do it for a longer amount of time. Now, if you want to build that strength in a moderate amount of time, then you can do a moderate amount of weight with a moderate amount of reps. And then your sets could be an even amount of sets to match. Now, in the gym, you're not building strength every day. We know you ain't trying to go in there and bust it down every single day. Some days you do get in there and you may do conditioning. But then when you go in the gym, you see that dude in the back who working on his strength every single day. Or maybe he does come in for some conditioning, but you don't see it. He pumping it out every single day and he getting massively big. How do you do that with your mental health? Now, let's look at it. We used reflection so that we can increase our reps and for endurance, so we can endure more. But how can we use reflection, or how can we use experience to build our strength? Well, risk something. Go ahead. Put it out there. Put it on the line. Go out on the limb. That's your weight right there. The weight of that risk, the weight of that endeavor, the weight of that challenge is is what you put on that barbell, and you lift that. You lift that. Let me get that. And you're going to build your strength. Now, we ain't maxing out. We don't want to hit it one time. That's not what we want to do. We do want to put the amount of weight on our line that we can handle. We don't want to go in there. Dang. I almost got it all. We don't want to go in there and put too much weight on ourselves, or so much weight on ourselves that we can't handle. That's not what we want to do. What we do want to do is we want to go in there and we want to get a moderate amount of weight that we can handle, and we want to do some reps. We want to hit those reps on that weight. I got to pause the game just for a second, just so I can be able to talk this one out fully to deliver it over to you. So, like I said, you don't want to put too much weight on yourself to where you can't even lift it a set amount of times. Also, you don't want to take a light approach to where you have to lift it too many times to get that desired effect. What you want to do is you want to put a moderate amount of weight on so that you can lift it a moderate amount of times until you achieve that burnout effect. Once you get that burnout effect or that what do they call it, muscle failure. Once you reach that muscle failure, you re-rack, you give your muscles time to rest, and then you go back at it. Now, we talking about mental health. We're not talking about actually going and doing some sets in the gym on the bench press or whatever machine you decide to see or you decide to use. Like I said, we got that Monk C gear over here. What we're trying to do is get in there in our mind and lift these weights. Now, what are our weights? Let me restate it again. Risk. It is the risk you are taking day to day on whatever endeavor, or venture for that matter, that you decide to take or partake in. That is your weight. Now let's get some examples out here on the table. 1 second, let me grab my flashcards behind me so I can keep myself on the straight and narrow. Hope y'all still out there with me, chilling and whatnot. All right, so your risk are gonna be your weight. Just like in the gym, in order to get that resistance, you need some sort of weight on that bar or on whatever it is that you're working out on, or machine or whatnot. So in order to get that resistance, you're going to put some weights on it. And the weight that we're going to use for our mental health strength training is going to be risk. The risk. Or the unknown. So we're going to stick with the word risk in that light. We're not going to switch over to the word unknown. We're going to just stick with the word risk because it's a little bit easier for you to grasp with your mind. So when you go out on a limb, good shot at my boy. So when you go out on a limb and you take that risk, you feel the weight of worry. You feel the weight of the pressure on you. You feel the weight of the world. I can use all of these weight metaphors and analogies, but that's exactly what it is. So when you have that weight on, how many times can you lift it? Because that's going to tell you how much strength that you have. Now, in anything in the world, we know you can build that strength. Is my B button not working? Oh, I can't even shoot. Oh, man, I can't shoot. That's funny. Anyway, I'm going to just talk. So, you know you have that weight on you when you take those risks. How many times can you lift that weight? How many times can you undertake that risk? Or how much of that risk are you willing to undertake in order to get you to where you want to go? Now, these are all questions that you can use for your mental health purpose. Now, let's say, for example, you go out and you have this great idea for a business venture. Now, when you start to think about the stuff that goes into anything at all, it takes resources. Now, for this specific example, we're talking about a business venture, something in business that you want to do, and you want to provide a product and or service to someone with your business. Now, that's a risk. It's not a risk like stepping out in the traffic risk, and it's not a risk like, if I were to slap a bear risk, but it's a risk like, if I were to do this, what would I be losing? What would I be gaining? You must know when to take some weights off. Yep, I appreciate that. That's gonna add so beautifully into my analogy that I'm building up right here. So it's not a risk like stepping out into traffic, and it's not a risk like punching a bear, but it is a risk nonetheless. Now, when you start that business, you take the resources that you have in one place and you use them in another place. Now, you may be able to use those resources, so it's not a risk in that light. But the risk that you are taking on, if like we're talking about a business venture, so to speak, the risk you are taking on is the public image of the business. Now, you could say you do great service, you provide a great product, and you're successful. So the risk was worth it. Now, let's inverse all of that stuff, and the risk would still probably be worth it. You just weren't able to accomplish your goal, so you weren't able to get past the risk that you had to take in order to achieve that goal. So, and in essence, if we're talking about a gym, you weren't able to lift that weight. You needed to take some weights off, so to speak. So you had a 45 on there. You approach this thing with a 45 on there, man. I got two 45s and 90. The bar is about 35. What the bar is, we'll find out what the bar is later. We'll say a 45. So we got what that is, 90, 135 on our bar. All right, 135 on our bar in life, and you trying to get that right there. Now, you couldn't accomplish your goal. You couldn't get over the risk or past the risk that it took for you to accomplish your goal. So you weren't successful. So you didn't lift that weight. You might need to just take a 10 off. Take 10 off. Go with 235s on the side. So you got 235s on the side. That's 70. The bar 35. So 105. Now it seems like you like, nah, well, let me do my math again. No, the bar is 45, so 235, 70, 115. All right. So it may seem like, man, I weigh more than 115, so I should be able to lift a little bit more than my own self. But nah, sometimes you take that 10 off, you go back at it, and you like, okay, I can deal with this. Now, the goal in strength training is not to max out and only be able to hit it one time, or push that bar up one time, or do one set on that machine, or one rep on that machine. With strength training, you want to do your reps, a moderate amount of reps, and a moderate amount of sets at a moderate weight. You don't want to go too high. You don't want to go too low. So you take them 10s off, and I'm not talking about weightlifting physically. I'm talking about mental. You take those weights off, and you can build up that strength to be able to put those weights back on in the long term. Now, what does that look like for your mental health? Let me restate it in a mental health in a mental health frame. So what that looks like for your mental health is, we revisit our example of building a business or starting a business venture. What that looks like is you go back into it, and those risk of putting in that, well, we say that the risk of all of the resources was not a risk. You had that. But whatever risk that prevented you from accomplishing your goal in business, you just scale it back just a bit. Take 10 off of each side. Go down to that 35. That could look like you don't invest too heavily into things that won't give you a return, so to speak, as you went out and you bought a bunch of inventory or a bunch of stock. You're a t-shirt company. You bought a bunch of stock of t-shirts, but your designs, you didn't have enough designs to put on them, or you weren't selling well, so you just was left with a bunch of inventory. Now, the way that you could take 10 off of that on each side is you do less, you buy less stock of inventory and you create more, or only when you need to create. So now, whereas you taking on that full 45, you only taking on 35 of only creating when you need to create. So now you go back in and you only creating when you need to create. You only creating when you need to create. You get that set, you get done. You get another set, you get done. So what you're building up then is you're building up that strength. Now you go back in and you revisit what you did with the 45s on each side. And you say, hey, well, I have all of this clientele built up. What can I do that I can do a little more of for this clientele, as opposed to the first time where you approached it, you bought inventory, you had the ideas ready to go, but you didn't have the clientele. So now you have that strength behind you and you go back in the same way you did the first time. You hit those reps because you know you can lift them now. And now you have come back out on the other side of that. And like I said, I'm just using the business as an example. Now you come back out on the other side of that, able to lift the 45s on each side. Now you going up, you think about putting a 45 and a 10 on each side mentally and with your mental strength, your mental health strength. Let me see what Zanita 6 said on here. Be okay with saying no. Let me pull it closer. Be okay with saying no to some things and some people. Yes, exactly. We can use that as a great example to show the risk too as well. I don't know what kind of mode they got me in on this. Oh, that button do work then. So I can use that as an example too as well. So every time you say yes to someone, you take that risk. You take on a risk. Now, let's say that risk is worth 10 pounds on your bar. Now, how many of those 10 pounds you putting on there? Because you get enough yeses in there, you up to 40 pounds, 50 pounds, then you up to however many plates on the side of your bar of life mentally. Now, when you say yes to someone that's asking you for something, the risk is yours. And it's there. It's a shared risk, but it is yours. Now, let me give a good example of this instead of just saying yes and no. So if I ask you to take me somewhere, give me a ride, every risk, every pitfall and trouble along the way is ours to share. I've just taken on all of your risk, or all of the risk of the situation, all the weight of the situation. Can I handle those risks? Mentally, I'll judge that before I say yes. If I feel like I can handle those weights, I say yes, and we proceed to working. We gonna work. We get you where you going. It's done. Now I'm a little stronger. My strength, my mental health strength is a little bit, it's stronger. Now, can you build strength from saying no? Let's find out. So now you come and you ask me, oh, I lost. Oh my God, I was supposed to hit that shot. Anyway, now you come back to me and you ask me that same question. Hey, can you give me a ride somewhere? Hey, what's happening, Lay Low B? And know your limits, right? Odessa DW. So you come back to me and you say, hey, can you give me a ride somewhere? And I say no. I'm going to take on the risk of your reaction. I'm going to take on the risk of doing whatever it is I was going to go do anyway by saying no. Now, can you handle that weight? Can you handle the weight of someone's reaction to you? I don't know. You got to check your strength, your mental health strength. Can you handle because that is a great question. Sometimes it's not like one of those things like, yeah, I'm going to be I'm going to tell you no, and it's going to be that. Sometimes you really are like, yo, I could do it for the person, and I really just don't want to say no. So that weight right now mentally in that moment, you're like, I can't lift this. I don't know. And your spotter, we ain't going to talk about the spotter yet. So that weight you can't get it up. And until you make that decision, you can't get it up. You make the decision saying no, and then now you have to deal with those weights. And as you go on and as you build up that strength. You have the strength is different mechanisms that you use to show your mental health. I said that wrong, but this is what I mean. If I know I don't want to say no and I don't want to say yes, that's the weight. The way that I lift that weight is by giving myself time to reflect or to contemplate on my decision. Once I make my decision, I've lifted the weight, but I take on another weight of handling the situation or going into the situation. Now, I tried to, what's that? Yeah, I'm just chilling in here talking about lifting weights. You know what I'm saying? So I explained that as well as I could. But I feel like we need more of a in-depth example to get it across in the way that I want to get it across. So, because mental health is something that we all are aware of, and we all are trying to build our mental health in one way or the other. So, no, I have not defeated all 27 teams. So, let me play with somebody other than Johnson in the morning. Oh, that's all they got? Dang, he ain't got no defense neither. So, now we get what we're talking about still is the strength side of mental health. And, hey, good shot. I'm sorry for pausing, Zanita 6'7". I'm sorry. So, let me read this comment. So, did you still take on the emotional attachment of the issue? Okay, so it's kind of hard to, this is the only way I can answer that question. It's hard to lift a weight like the better answer to that is I've seen metal weights, weights made out of metal. I've seen rubber weights. I've seen the medicine ball filled with whatever it's filled with, and it got weight. So there's different forms and different variations of the same thing. So if I take on the physical responsibility of taking someone somewhere, right? I also take on the emotional responsibility of taking them somewhere, which means, okay, emotionally, they're happy because I'm the one who's able to complete this for them, and they asked me. Now, the physical part is actually doing it for them. So it's kind of hard to separate it out. So you may be lifting the barbell, but you doing leg curl and the crunches and squats too at the same time. So you bench pressing and squatting and it's all the same. A better way to say that is it don't matter if I put a rubber 45 on there, if I put a metal 45 on there. Now, if you was throwing the medicine ball, then it's a different type of weight. But if I was to go to the gym and get under the barbell and they put that rubber one on there and they put that metal one on there, I'm not going to be able to tell a difference. It's only when you look and you see is when you can separate the two. You can separate that physical attachment to that emotional attachment of any issue. Now, the physical attachment of an issue may look like, hey, I have an obligation to be at a certain place at a certain time. Okay. Now, the mental obligation or the emotional, let's say the emotional attachment to an issue may look like, hey, I really care for this person or thing or this situation. I really care about it. Can you separate the two? Yes, you can, but it's only through discernment. Mental health is important, and mine is not good. How do I lift the weight of the world off my shoulders? I may need a spotter. Now, all right, my mans. So now let's get into. So now that we talked about how you get in there, and let me just recap for a second. The way that you get in there and you build the strength mentally is not by maxing out for the day. And it's not by doing small amounts of weight with large reps. The way that you get in there and you build mental health strength is by doing a moderate amount of weight and a moderate amount of reps and sets. You don't want to max out, but you don't want to go too low. You just want to build upon what you already got. Mentally, what that looks like is risk. The weight that you take on is your risk. Now, if you out there and you taking high risk and putting yourself into high risk situations, then if you take our analogy, you are taking a lot of weight. Like you said, Laylo B, that's the weight of the world right there. Onto you. Are you strong enough for that mentally? Is your mental health strong enough to take on the weight of the risk you are taking on day to day? If it's not, then it's nothing wrong with taking 10 off there. You take a little 10 off, you might get lifted at that point. So let me reread the question. Mental health is important and mine is not good. How do I lift this weight of the world off my shoulders? I may need a spotter. Now, just before I talk about the spotter, I do want to say this. The way that you lift the weight of the world off of your shoulders is the same way you build your endurance, and it's by reflection. Now, you don't feel the results of the gym until the next 8 hours, let's say, or the next 16 hours, or the next day, for instance. You don't feel that the effects of the gym. What that means mentally is you may be putting yourself in situations and you tried to lift that weight or tried to take on that risk and it didn't work out. Or you lifted it and you put it down and you walked away, but you're not going to feel the effects of it or see the effects of it on your mental or your emotional state until later. You may have made that bad decision or went to that place and you should have been somewhere else. At the time, you're just going to keep on lifting that weight and taking on that risk. But later on, it's going to hit you just like you played basketball all day the day before. Be like, oh, man, I feel that one. And it's through reflection that you're going to be able to take some of that weight off. Once you sit back and you say, man, oh, I feel like this and I feel like that and my mind is like this. That is you taking the weight off, going into the shop or wiping the bar down, wiping the bench down and going into the showers. You're no longer taking on those risks in the moments that come after the risk. You have the time to reflect. So in that time of reflection, you're reducing your weight. Now, when you go back out there and you ready to hit the bar again, you ready to get on the bench again. Now, don't put them same weights back on there. Don't put them same weights back on there. Let the screen change over. Don't put that same weight back on there, okay? Before you ever call for the spotter, go get up, wipe the bar down, wipe the bench down, go in the showers and reflect. Go reflect. Sit out for a while and reflect. Sit still for a while away from those risks. And so you can see, all right, well, this risk was a 45. This one was a 10. This one was just a 5 curl bar. And then you will be able to hit the floor again. And once you hit the floor again, you don't put them same weights that you couldn't lift on. You don't say, hey, spotter, come over here. I'm about to lift too much today. I'm going over today. No, what you do is you put what you can handle on. And then you go up from there as you call the spotter over. Call the spotter over and say, hey, look, I had got this one, but I'm going to go up from here. So I'm going to need you to help me out just to get it up and make sure I got it. All right. So reflection. But once you reflect, you need to be honest with yourself, with what you have realized during your reflection process. Yes. So let me take what you said and combine it. We're gonna marry those two ideas together. You take the process of the reflection and you being honest within that process of reflection. And that is you analyzing how much weight you need to put back on in order to increase your strength. Now, in so many words, you said exactly what I said. Through that process of reflection, you better not go back out there and put them same weights on, because now you're being dishonest with yourself. You're being dishonest with yourself all up and in through the gym. You can't lift that. Everybody looking at you. And guess what everybody is? Everybody's in your mind. Everybody that's in your mind, you as a person, are looking and saying, man, I probably can't lift this, but I'm going to go out there and I'm going to do it again. No. The honest part about being in the gym is doing what you are capable of. You cannot lift that. That risk is too much for you. You cannot take that on. If you do, even your spotter cannot help you. And he hit that last shot. So now let's move on to the spotter, because I really like this example. We started, I kind of set you up for it with the sunflower example, but let's go a little deeper into it. So when you look at the sunflower, like I said, the sunflower is leaning because it's a little top heavy. Cool. You tie it up to something, it begins to grow again under its own strength. It's growing under its own strength, and it stands up. It's back growing like how it was before. And you can't tell. Is it the shoes? Now, we all need somebody to lean on. You just might have a problem that I'll understand. We all need somebody to lean on. Sorry to put them vocals on you real quick, but that's what the spotter do. Now, the spotter ain't there to lift it for you. All right, let me say that again. If you call me over the spot for you, I'm not lifting that dog. I'm back here. I'm down there with you. God damn, man, what you put this on here for? You can't lift this? Come on, dog. You know, the spotter is not there to lift it for you. The spotter is there to spot if you can't lift that period. The spotter there to see if you, hey, dog, you can't lift. Hey, I'm gonna spot that at for you. Nah, you ain't got it. All right. Give me that. Dang. So we all need somebody to lean on. And when you call the spotter over, the spotter is temporarily taking on your risk. Remember, the weight is the risk. And we're using the weight to build our mental strength, the risk to build our mental strength. I'm really liking this analogy too. It's like, anyway, so we're using the risk to build our mental health strength. Okay. Now, if you take risk and throw it in there with lifting weights, and you know, when you lift weights, you need a spotter. You take out lifting weights and you put in risk, and the spotter is supposed to lift your risk or take on your risk entirely? No. A percentage of it? Yeah, I can help you out with that and get it up a little bit. I got one finger on it. He doing it all himself. All himself. Look at that. He ain't even need me. Now, I hope y'all feeling that, because it gives you the light to the darkness, or the answer to the equation when it comes to how you should ask for help, or who you should ask for help when you're trying to find out who you can rely on, who you can good block, or who you can lean on. Now, who's your spotter? Now, we ain't talking about we're not talking about in sniping or in combat terms of looking downwind or trying to see down range at who down there and we gonna shoot him. We talking about when you take on risk, who is the one who's gonna be there to help you along the way, or your support, or who are you gonna lean on, or who's gonna take on a little bit of that risk along with you. Now, for me and my mama, she be holding him down. She take on a little portion of the risk. She right behind me spotting every time. For you, it may be your wife. It may be your best friend. They right behind you spotting. They like, yo, he out there lifting in the gym today, getting that strength up mentally. So I'm gonna be out there with him, and I'm gonna spot for my mans. And ain't nothing gonna weigh him down. Now, as you sit and you think about and reflect on your spot, man, let me get me out the corner. You think about who is spotting for you in your life and helping you lift those risks in your life. Now you can start to go spot for some other people. Now, I want an expansion pack. I don't like to sit and give you words that's like, oh, well, you could go help your brother and help your neighbor and cliches. No, intercept it. I don't like to give you that type of stuff. What I like to give you is analogies that form tools that can complete your job. If you ain't washing your car, what do you need a hose for? You might later, but you got to find out what you need it for. So these tools that come from me in the form of these analogies or these metaphors for situations we go through, they're meant to be in a file in the back of your mind, that when you're ready to pull it out, it could only help you. It won't hurt you. It won't be like something that is you want to unlearn or take back. And that's why I put it out there. I'm putting it in a form that we can use to see our everyday life in a different way. I'm pretty sure everybody has friends that they call for support. But how many friends can you say are spotting you mentally? And you can use spot however you want to use it. Spot like as in seeing you. Spot as in like spot on your clothes. They right there with you. You know what I'm saying? Or you can say spotting like lifting weights, helping you lift some of those risking weights in your life. They right there with you, behind you. Now, they ain't taking it all on, because you would hate for somebody to be lifting something that you couldn't lift yourself. But they are there with you and spotting you. So with me saying that in that light, it helps you to see a little bit better. I just said I need a spotter. Yeah. My spotter's name is Mojo Jojo. But okay, so let me ask this question. If you want to fill up my chat with the answer, what does the spotter look like? Are they a big, super strong person? Are they a moderately built person? Is it your best friend? What does the spotter look like for you to help you get those risks off? The spotter don't have to be a person. The spotter could be your money in your pocket. Man, it's going to spot me every time because they're going to get me through the situation. I need to get on the bus, it got me. If I need to call somebody, it got me. Dang, I'm about to lose again. Give me that. Dang. Hold on, y'all. I'm trying to win. Give me that. No! That's not fair. That's not fair. That's so not fair. Oh my gosh. Dang. All right. Now you said think about it. Which part? Because we was talking about having a spotter. I done lost twice. This game, I love it because it's different from hang time. Hang time is like a little bit more loose. This one is I can actually move around and do stuff differently. So now we talked about your mental health strength. We started talking about having your spotter, and I was asking Lalo B 88. Yeah, think about it. My spotter is Mojo Jojo. Okay, that's what's up, bro. I don't know how else to respond. At least you got one. Maybe you need a new spotter. Yeah, as Anita67 say, maybe you need a new spotter. I say, hey, at least you got one. If you look at where you at with your mental health strength, you can always get stronger. That's not something that you are just infinitely, you're not ever gonna get stronger. We all getting stronger every day in different ways. So it's always something that you're gonna end up changing, so to speak. Now, we talked about being in the gym and seeing how you could build that mental health strength. We talked about having a spotter, and we even talked about what that strength looks like, or what that weight looks like to help, that resistance looks like to help you build that strength. And what it looks like is the the risk that you take on. We all know you can walk over to the rack and look at the 45 and look at the 35 and pick which one you want to take. You don't have to take on every single weight that's on there. You can take the one that you want. Now, in life, we all take on risk. Some of those risks are calculated risk. Some of those risks are things that we can change, and some of them are just out of our control. And we just have to keep on going with the flow on them. So let's talk about the unknown for a minute. And because I left the unknown out, and the reason I left the unknown out is because when you talk about the unknown, that's a risk that is, it's like, let's say we went over to the rack and we trying to get a weight off the rack. And there's the 45 to 35 to 10. And then there's a question mark. It's a question mark weight. Hey, you already know. I appreciate you for stopping through, Lalo B. Thank you for saying that, man. I try to not to get too sidetracked, I really try to take it to the base level, the source level. And the reason I try to get it on that source level is because I think we might got some comments on Facebook. The reason I try to get it on that source level is because think about standing on a platform out in the middle of a lava ocean and everybody's on it. Hold on. And every which way you step, it leans and rocks, and everybody would have to be in step with one another, or we all falling into the lava ocean, you know? So if I can give you that base layer underneath your feet to protect you from that lava ocean, that's what I want to give you, because we're all standing on this platform together. Now, let me say that again. We're all on this platform together, but I'm able to describe the platform we're standing on in order for you to get your orientation and bearing correct so you don't step off into the lava. So that's what I'm giving when I talk here on Expansion Pack. And I appreciate you for tuning in and actually giving that feedback. It really, really helps. So like I was saying, I think we got, that's the last comment. Okay. So like I was saying, when we talk about having a spotter, we talk about the risk that we take. And sorry to get too far sidetracked. And we go to the weight rack and we look at the weight rack of risk. There's the 45, There's a 25. And then there's a question mark weight. The size may vary. The weight may vary. We don't know what that question mark weight is, what that risk is. And that's what I want to talk about here for a quick second. That unknown risk that we take on. Well, that unknown risk that you may take on, it doesn't have a particular weight to it that you can measure until you get into it. Once you get into it, you know what it is. And still some parts of it you may not know. And let me give an example to kind of define what I mean. Now, you had your whole plan laid out for the day. A picnic out in the sun. Well, you get out to the picnic out in the sun and you calculated the weather. You calculated it. So that was a 45. Because you're like, man, I don't know. This weather is looking kind of funny, but where I'm going, it's not supposed to be like that. So it's a 45. It's a little bit heavy, but I can handle it. Now, you get all the way out there, you set up your picnic, knowing that you got that 45 on the line. Here comes your question mark weight. That cloud that's lingering over. And we don't know the size of the weight or that risk that you're taking on, because whereas it could rain, it could not rain, and it looks very, very sunny over there, but where I'm at, it's not looking as good anymore. So you took on that risk and you were able to handle part of that risk, but there's still that question mark part of the risk that you just don't know. Will it rain or will it not rain? I am not God. I cannot go up there and be like, slow down a little bit, drops of rain coming down. So that's the question mark. That's the most basic example I can give you of the question mark risk, because part of it, you like, hey, look, I checked the Weather Channel. I checked outside. I went out there, called a couple people that were down there and asked them what the weather looking like. I did all of that. I lifted that weight as much as I could. But there's still that question mark there. And still that risk. And then it starts to rain. Well, it started to rain. What do? Well, do you ask for help from your spotter? Do you put the weight down, push it off to the side, and throw it on the ground? Well, in this situation, in our example, no, you simply clean up, pack up, and you go home. And that would be you still lifting that weight, still being able to handle that pressure or that situation. But was it unknown to you? Yes, it was very unknown to you. You didn't know if it would jam. You didn't know if it would rain or not. So it's unknown to you, but it's still something you can handle. Now, I use that example of it just simply going to a picnic and it raining because you can do everything you can in that example to try to predict or try to handle that weight. And then even once it starts raining on you, you're still able to handle it. Now, we could use some other examples to explain that unknown risk. Some that would hit home harder than others. I think I'm going to use it anyway. I'm going to use it. So let's talk about the loss of someone. So in the loss of someone, that's always the weight on the rack, unless it's a loved one that may not be at perfect health or in the best health. Even then, there's still the unknown. But let's just say you do lose someone. That's the unknown weight or the unknown risk right there in your face. And remember, we're talking about the strength. You may not have the strength to handle that. Oh, good block, boy. You may not have the strength to handle that. You didn't condition. You didn't get in there on those reps. The most that you could do to get that rep of that weight is reflection, and it's still not as heavy as the actual thing. So when that time comes and you do lose that person that's close to you or someone, you're in the thick of that. You're on that machine and you're lifting it. And at some point, maybe you're not able to lift it. Oh man, they're still telling me to stay. No fleeing the area. Dang. So you're in the thick of it, and you're still not able to lift that weight. So you call over your spotter, your friends, your family. You may go and need help from a therapist. These are all your spotters in the situation, and you're trying to get that weight off of you of losing someone or losing something. You're trying to get that weight of losing someone off of you. So you do all of these things. You get your spotter. You get as much help as you can, and you're still not able to get that weight. Still not able to hit that amount of weight and lift it. So what do you do then? Well, you're already building your strength the whole time. Now, granted, you couldn't get that rep up. You couldn't get that particular weight all the way up. But every single, just like in the gym, every single time you put it on and you try it, you building up that strength. Now, you may not be able to get it all the way up ever in this example. And I use this example because losing someone is not something that you reverse. Unless you lose that someone and then they return to you. It's not something that you just be like, come on back here now, and I ain't lost you now. I found you. When you lose someone, it is a permanent thing. So how do you continue to lift a weight that is unknown and is permanent? Or how do you lift a weight that you could never get the strength for? How do you lift a weight that you could never get the strength for? I don't know how to answer that one. So you're in the thick of it. You've lost the person. You've called on your spotters. Your spotters are giving you the assistance that you need to get that weight up, at least partially. Dang, I ain't losing again. Yeah, goaltending. But you will never get that weight completely lifted, or you may never have the strength for that weight. Ooh, he double dribble. And I hit it. But you will always, hold on, y'all. I'm sorry for pausing. Get out of here, man. Oh, man. Oh, that's so crazy. And he hit it. Anyway, before I go into overtime, I'm going to finish talking this thing out. So now you're in the thick of it, and you don't know how you're going to get this weight up. Well, I'm here to tell you, when I started talking about this example, I knew that it was no way to really get that weight or gather that strength to lift that weight. Some of us are dealing with the loss of a loved one or a person that's close to us or anyone every single day. So you go to the weight rack and you got all of these weights on here that you can measure, all of these risks or situations that you can measure. But then there's that question mark one every single time. And I use the example of losing someone to fill that question mark. And you could lift that weight over and over again, and still every single time you come back to it, not have the strength to get it up. Every single time. It may take you some time every single time. You may need your spotter every single time. And at one point or some point, you may actually feel as if you've gotten it lifted, or you're able to lift it. And it may come around again and you're just not able to handle it again. Now, there's so many unknown or question mark risk and weights out there. that I could speak about, but I wanted to speak about that one specifically because it hits home. It is that baseline that we're all able to relate to. So now we ain't over. I'm gonna play it smart. Oh, dunk the ball, boy. Dunk the ball. Oh. So we done got in the gym. We done built up some strength. We done learned what we doing in the gym mentally. What we doing is we lifting a moderate amount of weight with a moderate amount of reps and a moderate amount of sets. We not, ooh, good block. We not going in there to max out. We not going in there to build up endurance or condition. We going in there to build our strength. So we need to know what we can lift and lift it. We don't want to go in there with not knowing what we can lift and trying to figure it out. We can go in there, figure out what we can lift, and actually lift it. Deja vu. So I hope I gave y'all a let me see how much time we in right now. We got a good solid 45 left. But nope. Nah, we got a good solid 30 to 45 minutes left on this thing. We got another comment from you may be all right today and tomorrow you need a spotter. Right. And it's really rough if your spotter is the one that has, oh my gosh. Sorry. I know you probably just saw me. I know it's a delay on the broadcast, but as soon as I read that, oh Lord, as soon as I read that, I know you over there. I can see that you are eating the soul food that I'm putting out here on Expansion Pack just by you writing that comment. Yeah, I hear what you're saying. So you may have to work on something else for a while, other than strength, right? Yeah, you can't even work. Can't even work on strength because you ain't got your spotter. That because for us to build the strength or to work on the strength, you got to have a moderate amount of reps or a moderate amount of weight with a moderate amount of reps and sets. And when you reach that muscle failure and you try to call over your spotter and they ain't there, and you got the lock on both sides of the bar, you can't even flip the weight off of there. You just got to flip the whole bar to the side or it's going to come down. And we talking about mental health. Yeah, I know, Zanita 6'7", yes. Try to maintain. Oh yeah, I try to maintain. But that is the reason why I picked the exact example. We got a contrast of the rain. You know, you trying to go do a picnic or trying to have a picnic in the rain, and you got that question mark risk of will it rain or not? Well, you calculate it as much as you can. You check the weather channel, you call some people and all of that to see how the weather is, but it's still that question mark there. Then I use the example of losing someone. Because that question mark weight, whereas you might be able to lift it, you might not be able to lift it. You might have the strength for it. You might not. Whereas you got that, it's something that will always be that question mark weight, and you always your strength to handle it will always be in question. It'll always be questionable. So, I like the fact, I really do, like the fact that you all are connecting with me here on Expansion Pack, to be able to see what I'm saying. It helps to have that connection with whatever it is you believe in that's higher than you to deliver the messages. But if you got a reference here through me or through the things that you listen to or read, it can't help. And the connection, I mean, is what the... Hold on, y'all. Let me at least win this game before I try to start talking and looking stupid. What? I lost again. I keep losing. I'm 0-3. And I keep losing by 1 or 2. I ain't picking Charlotte no more. Alonzo Mourning, y'all good, man. Y'all good, dog. Yeah, I had 65 points. It's all good. I guess I'm not playing to win, apparently. So we've been talking about mental health, the strength side of mental health. We gave some tips on how to build your mental health or some aspects of mental health. Boom shakalaka. Right. Yeah. Appreciate you for stopping through with us, Allie. I see, I got the shirt on right now, but I'm 0-3. Damn. I be trying to, you reset the game. After that, something like this, reset that. Nah, but what we talking about here today is mental health, and we talking about the strength aspect of mental health. I got my Boom Shakalaka shirt on today, from monksee.com. That's MONKSEE.com. Y'all can go ahead and copy y'all one of them shirts. Go over to the website. I'm gonna flash it here. Yeah, y'all go ahead and copy y'all one of them t-shirts right there. See, I got my little AARP hat and my granny gave. Well, I got from granny. But from my mama, from granny. And my little Crocs over there. But that's MONKSEE.com. Grab you one of these. I like the black one, but I'm gonna try to give me a nice little outfit to match with the white one. I think I might wear my dress pants with my little brown shoes. That's idea for another day. Don't worry about it. But anyway, what we talking about here today is strength training for your mental health. Who should I play with, really? Got Elijah Wan and Maxwell. Who on the Lakers? Vlade Divac. Hey, Clyde. Let me see. Reggie Miller down. Nah. I'm gonna go with Chicago. Scottie Pippen. There you go. All right, bet. So when we talking about getting in the gym on mental health, we talked about endurance last week. This week we talked about strength. Now, we already covered all our bases as far as what, turbo don't work? We already covered all our bases when it comes to the base examples of what we talking about. Hold on, y'all. Man, this young. I can't deal with it. So we already talked about the base examples. I used the example of the sunflower needing just a little bit of support by getting tied to something so it could lean on something. We talked about the spotter helping you take on those risks that from day to day. But I want to introduce, before we get out of here for the day, I do want to introduce a different aspect of building your strength. And that's being too top heavy. Now, chicken legs is cool, I guess, if you like a big 600 pound, well, 200 pound, and you just like, you got chicken legs. That's cool. He'll punch shit at you. Excuse me. You know what I'm saying? He might can't jump too high, but he punch you real hard. But it's still not good. Now, you could have a lot of the leg strength, but you don't have none of that upper body to match. Like if you see my legs, people will be like, dang, your calves is huge. But then, you know what I'm saying, my chest might not be as, or my shoulders might not be as big as I. Hey, appreciate the follow. I couldn't even see who it was. Let me see. Let me check out who just got that latest follow. I'll shout you out in a second at the end of the broadcast, but I appreciate you following me. Whoever it was that flashed on the screen, I couldn't see. I ain't got my glasses, but like I said, I'm not. My shoulders ain't the biggest. My arms ain't necessarily the biggest. My legs though, you know what I'm saying. I got a decent calf muscle right there. So in mental health, what does it look like to be top heavy and have chicken legs? What does that look like mentally? For this example, I'm gonna say you have a lot of faith in what you believe in. Have a lot of faith in what you believe in, but you're not doing none of the work to realize that faith. Now, that's the top heavy example. Now, that's the person with the big chest, the big arms, the big shoulders, thick ass neck, but chicken legs. Now, the person with the strong legs, able to jump high, do 200-pound squats, or if that's a lot, I don't know. But not the chest or the neck and the shoulders, and that person does a lot of the work. They do a lot of the work. Mentally, they do a lot of the work. They do the reflection. They try to work on themselves. They try to get a little bit further in their emotional attachments. But they don't have no faith. They have no faith. And the faith is fleeting. Now, I know I said my legs is kind of big or whatever, but I got the faith. And I'm doing the work. But let me break down each one just so you can get a clear picture of how to be balanced when you're doing your work in the gym. Now, the top heavy person, looking good. Hey, what's good, Monk C? Glad to have y'all in the building for the first time chat. Yeah, you know, I got the other one over here, but you know, just for hosting purposes, I'm gonna stay on topic. So now, and I appreciate you stopping through, Jason. So now, if you have a high spirit, you got the high spirit, or mentally, and I gotta pause for a second on the game just so I can get this out. So if you're built and you have the chicken legs mentally, this is what it looks like. So your faith keeps you in a position of constant belief. Now, being able to do the work to help realize that faith looks like you study, and then you implement or you execute. Now, let's say I believe or I put my faith into my company or my business. And my faith is that we will provide a service or a product that is great. My faith says we will do that. I'm faithful that will happen. I believe it. But we don't have proper filing processes in the office. We're not doing the proper SOP or the standard operating procedures. We don't even have those. We don't know anything about logistics. We ain't doing nothing logistically that's right. So my faith is very strong. Faith is very strong. I believe we can do this and our product will be the best. And our service will be the best. But we're doing none of the work to get there. So we top heavy mentally, we built. We like, I got the faith. Well, I'm good. I'm going to go out there and we going to do it. But down below, we got chicken legs. So all of this bulk we got is our legs is like, please stop lifting weights. Please stop. Get your ass off the bench press. Now, in the inverse of that, you got my man's over here doing 300-pound squats. Hold on, let me switch scenes back real quick. He doing 300-pound squats every single time. I can't shoot for some reason. And he doing maybe a couple curls here and there. He get on the bench press every now and again. But he's strong. His legs are strong. Very strong. So he's doing the work. Doing a lot of the work. He has his logistics in order for his business. He has all the paperwork in order for his business. He makes sure that, I don't know, every single department is doing, head of department is doing what they're supposed to do as far as reporting, all of these things. So, coupled with faith, the faith that he can do it, he can get it done. Now, all of this work, all of this leg work that is being done has to start somewhere. Well, it starts with the idea, and the idea just keeps getting built and built and built. But the faith that it will last may be fleeting every single time there's a problem. Now, you're able to do that leg work to get that problem solved. Yes. But the faith in the entire project ain't gonna hold it. Let me relate it to strength, upper body strength. You can't hold it. You're not able to hold what you're creating. You can't carry the weight of it because you haven't built up that faith that it will endure. Now, we got both examples. We got the top heavy person with the chicken legs. We got the strong leg person and he's skinny up top. He ain't as big up top. The top heavy person has a lot of faith in what he's doing. But the work is not as great as it could be. Then you got the person with the strong legs doing 300-pound squats, who, while he can do the leg work, not no pun intended, has no faith that it will endure. So all he or she does is the leg work to handle the problem. Now let me reset this game. And I ain't resetting because I lost. Resetting because I don't like how this controller keep acting funny on me. So now in both of those examples, you can find which are you. Now you can have the faith and not do the leg work. Cool. You'll have a lot of faith and you'll be strong and big and you'll be big and bulky and your neck will be thick. But you had chicken legs. Now you can go out there and you can work on your legs and you can dunk on everybody, but you'll be as slender as they come. So in mental health, that looks like going out there, solving the problems, going out there, doing everything great. But you're only doing everything great because you have no faith that it will last. So with every in-between portion, you're destroyed. You don't know what's going to come next. And it keeps you working. Whereas the person with faith knows that something's going to come next. So they may get complacent and not do as much work. Now, today we coming up on, we still got a good solid 30 minutes. So we done talked about building your strength through taking on risk, the risk that you can handle. We done talked about chicken legs. We done talk about upper body strength mentally. We've talked about rain on your picnic, the unknown weights that you may run into, or the unknown things that you may encounter, being your risk. We got a lot. I think we got a lot solved in this little portion of time right here. Here on Expansion Pack today, we had the Monk C drop through. Let me go ahead and give y'all a follow real quick. I didn't know y'all had the Twitch page popping, but I'm about to go over here and follow y'all right now. That's right, my guy. Yes, sir. So right now, y'all can see me playing this NBA Jam. I got on my Monk C t-shirt. Boom shakalaka. And I got some J's over there in the back to wear it with them too. But let me show y'all this other version of the shirt right now. If you go to Monk C, that's MONKSEE.com, you can get this shirt right now. Let y'all see it. So that's the white one over there. I got on the black one. I'm gonna wear the white one tomorrow. Go home and find me an outfit and throw it on tomorrow. Hold on, wait. I followed you from a DGTA page. Let me follow you from my actual Twitch account over here. There you go. I appreciate you stopping through. So let me see if I can actually win a game today with Scottie Pippen them. Well, I'm gonna have to come back next Thursday and do this again. Don't play with me. All right, so we have talked about building your mental health strength. I done gave all kind of metaphors and examples for it. I hope today on Expansion Pack, I'm gonna go back. To be honest with you, I'm gonna go back and re-watch this episode, because I really think that I'm making a connection to your minds, the minds of my viewers, by referencing these aspects of our lives that we see day to day in this way. We're not just talking about mental health. We're getting in there and talking about mental health in a way that we can understand. So if you get into a car, we all understand that it takes keys to be able to start that car. Some way, somehow, it takes a key. And the key is not a physical key in our lives that is going to start our engine or start our life up. The key to our lives is mental and emotional and spiritual. And these are lights that guide us. Now, if you don't believe in the mental, or you don't believe in the spiritual, or you don't believe in the emotional, well, you're stuck in the physical. And I'm not going to tell you that's a bad place to be, but study your physical. And as you study your physical, you'll see that your physical draws from something higher than physical. And that will be your attachment. If you were to look at the things in your life as alive, it gives you so much clarity. When I was younger, a bit of personal about me. When I was younger, I used to think everything was alive. And in me thinking everything was alive, I gave everything respect. It was no longer about me anymore. It was about everything else too as well. And I'm able to give that respect. What's up with my controller, man? Come on, stop playing. Well, you're going to have to shoot, all right? Because I can't even shoot. I can't do nothing. That's why I quit the first time. Yeah, that's why I quit the first time. This controller tripping on me. Anyway, so with me thinking that everything was alive, it made me respect things. It made me see things as if I were the thing that I'm seeing. And in that light, you get so much clarity. If I were to disrespect something, as in if someone were to disrespect me, it would make me feel something. And so when I attached everything being alive, it makes me feel like everything feels something. So I'm able to go into this zone or in this mode and say to you all as my viewers, I hope I can make that connection with you, because I know you are alive and I know that you experience some of the same things that I experience. And here on Expansion Pack, we are one big tree. and our roots are all one and the same connection. So feel free to hit me up at one of them social media links that you see down. Give me the ball. That you see down below. If you would like to be a part of what we're doing here at DGTA TV, make sure you go to the website that you see on the screen. That's monksee, MONKSEE.com, and get you one of these boom shakalaka. Boom shakalaka. Let me see if I can make him say it one more time. Give me that. There you go. He ain't say it. So make sure you go get you one of these boom shakalaka shirts. Every time you buy a shirt from Monksee, it helps us out here at DGTA TV. So even if you don't go and buy you a shirt from Monksee, just go check it out. See what other apparel you might like. I like this one because I'm playing this game, and I've been playing this game for let's say I was 8 when I first played it. I don't know exactly when I first played it, but let's say I was 8. So I've been playing this game for 26 years. 22 decades of playing this game. Blast from the past. Now you see why I bought it. So as we wind down and we get up out of here for the day, I want to remind you that Expansion Pack is about finding our root so that we can grow. Once you find out that root, find out the root of what you are, you can begin to expand into who you are to become. We do this thing every Monday through Friday right now at 11 o'clock. We will be changing schedules here soon in about 2 weeks. And we'll be pushing back to 9 o'clock. That 9 o'clock hour. And that's 9 a.m. for those who think I'm talking about PM time. That is 9 o'clock. And we'll probably increase the hour. Might go for 3 hours as opposed to going for the 2 hour span. But we definitely pushing back to 9 o'clock. We got the school year coming up. We got all these things coming up ahead of us. So I don't want to keep on telling y'all I'm going to be on here at 11 o'clock. Nah, 22 decades. Nah, I meant to say 2 decades. I'm sorry. My wording was off. Good shot. Anyway, so we will be changing times, like I said, to that 9 o'clock hour here in about 2 weeks. You can expect that fully to be implemented in September. We'll go back to that 9 o'clock time. But if you are a loyal viewer or follower or listener or subscriber, whichever one you are, you can always go and watch the reruns or replays. If you do not follow me yet, go ahead, hit that follow button, hit that subscribe, smash that like, whichever platform you watching on right now. And you can get your subscription if you run over to Twitch right now. You can get you a subscription and get 3 months of Apple TV for free if you gift a sub or if you get yourself a subscription. So go ahead, gift the subscription out to somebody or send me some bits, whatever it is you want to do. Everything helps us over here to keep on programming and keep on getting you this information that you need on Expansion Pack. Now, tonight, we got Lalo Brown Presents the Identity Groove Collective, and that's happening at 7 o'clock. Oh, no. Yes. About to say. And that's happening at 7 o'clock from 7 to 9. So make sure you tune in for that if you like good music. You like good hip hop music. You like good singing. You do a little bit of everything. You got a good message. So if you tune in at 7 on DGTA TV or right here on my Twitch channel or YouTube, you'll see that show coming on. Also, in the future, if you want to suggest any topics for us to talk about, or if you want to be a guest on the show, make sure you hit me up at one of them social media links that you see down below as well. I'm still trying to finish this. He on fire. Still trying to finish this game over here without losing. Come on. Oh my gosh. This is crazy. Tomorrow will be our Finance Fridays. Get your finance questions ready. I do know somebody who is an accountant, and I know one banker now. So they probably got some good, well, 2 bankers, as a matter of fact. They probably got some good information if I was to hit them up and call in or have them call in. So begin to tune in on our Financial Fridays. That's going to be every Friday. I don't want to skip a Friday for the Finance Fridays because we all could use a little bit of information on that light right there. So make sure you tune in tomorrow for Finance Fridays. I am your host, Dan F. Man. I'm going to keep, he said it when they dunk on me. I'm going to keep win this game right here for a couple more seconds. But tomorrow will be Finance Fridays. I hope y'all enjoyed this. I'm going to do a recap. Take it. Go ahead, horse. I'm going to do a recap here for us in a second after this game. And y'all got to see this the part of the show. Get the ball. No. Yeah, this the part of the show where y'all see me actually play the game. Dang, I lost again. No. And I lost every single game today. But at least we talked about some good topics. At least we had a good talk. But I lost every single game today. I lost every single game. Dang. Okay, well, either way, this has been another episode of Expansion Pack. Let me do our recap here for y'all. So what we talked about here on Expansion Pack today was our mental health. Okay, what we talked about here today was our mental health. And the aspect of mental health that we touched on this week is strength. Now, last week we talked about endurance, conditioning, and this week we talked about strength. And the part about strength that I want you to take away from this is how much can you handle? Now, we referenced strength mentally to risk. How much risk can you handle? The amount of risk you can handle determines your strength. Now, the risk would be the weight, and handling that risk is how much strength you have. So we also talked about being top heavy or being strong mentally is like having your faith, but not a lot of work towards realizing that faith. We also gave a contrast of having good, strong leg strength mentally would be like doing all of the leg work, but it's only because of a lack of faith. Now, if you take those two things and you marry them together, you need a little bit of both to be able to have that perfect recipe for mental health and strength, the strength aspect of mental health. You may not be able to lift that 45 on each side, so you might need to have a spotter. Your spotter is going to help you to get that weight up, but your spotter is not there to lift the weight for you. That is not their job, and that is not their intention in the first place. So in that case, or in that light, you yourself have to do the work. You yourself have to take on those risks and be able to lift them with your own strength. Now, your spotter will help you, but they are not there to lift it completely or entirely. Now, once you get that strength, keeping that strength is a part of the equation too. And in order to keep that strength, you gotta keep on hitting the gym. You may not necessarily be able to increase your max, but in order to not drop your max, you have to keep your strength. And the way that you keep your strength mentally is by reflection. You use that reflection, whereas it may be a lighter weight of risk, you can still increase your reps. You may have things in your mind that you don't want to reflect on. Those can be a moderate weight. And that moderate weight, as you reflect upon it, could help you to increase your mental strength. Now, if you have things in your mind that you don't want to deal with at all, or don't even want to think about at all, that right there is your max. That is the max that you can go, and you don't want to go beyond. So you now know what type of strength you may be looking at mentally. We also talked about the unknown risk or the unknown weight. You go over to the weight bench or the weight rack, and there's the 45s, there is the 35s, there's the 10s, but then there's also that question mark weight. And in life, that question mark weight is the unknown risk that you may take on. I use the example of a rainy day. A rainy day, or not a rainy day, a picnic that might get rained, might have rain on it, or might get rained on. You check the weather, you call people around and say, what's the weather like? You even go out there and stay out there and set up. But that risk of it raining still is there. Now, that's a weight that has a question mark. But in the example of a rainy day or getting your picnic rained on, you could always pack up and leave. So that's a risk you may be able to handle when it comes. The weight of it will not be too much. On the contrast of that, we also talked about losing someone. And when you lose someone, that's the question mark weight that you don't know you don't know your strength. You don't know how strong you will be in that situation. And so when that time comes, it's not as simple as your picnic getting rained on and you pack up and leave, or you open an umbrella. You don't know. You may call your spotters. You may have 10 spotters helping you to lift that weight at once, and you still can't get it up. They can't even get it up for you. So I use that example to show the question mark risk that we all take on, that we may not be able to even handle. Now, I think that was, let's see, spotter. In conclusion, the strength of your mental health can be increased by you. Now, this can happen through low weight, high reps, or it could happen through moderate weight, moderate reps, or it could happen through heavy weight, low reps. You can build strength in all three of those ways. The most effective way when building strength, however, would be a moderate weight, moderate reps, and a moderate amount of sets. The reason you want to go with the moderate amount is because you know you can handle it. But how many times could you handle it? How much strength will you have left after your first set? How much strength will you have after your first 10 reps? So when we're thinking about mental health strength, I want to leave you with this. It is determined by you. It is not determined by the wind of destiny. It is not determined by your friend's max. It's not determined by how much help you get from your spotter. It is determined by you. So with that being said, get out there in that gym, build that mental health strength. Try not to lose at NBA Jam. And I'm going to see y'all tomorrow on Financial Fridays here on Expansion Pack. Once again, you are watching DGTA TV. And if you haven't already, go check out Monksee, MONKSEE.com, so you can check out these Boom Shakalaka shirts. Is right there on the landing page. I'm gonna get that affiliate link out to you as soon as I have it, so you can go and you can use my link to get a discount, or you can purchase something from the site for yourself. You can read all about them. I'm gonna show you just a little bit of their apparel before I get on up out of here today. I think I got I should have a browser source already up. Appreciate you, Zanita67. Appreciate you. Thank you so much, even for tuning in. I want to try to get some of this apparel on the screen for y'all real quick. No, I can't do it on the 2-player screen. Y'all can see a little bit better. All right. All right, there we go. It ain't gonna fit perfectly in this little circle, but all right, let's go. This is monkc.com. They got your t-shirts, they got sweaters. I was on here. I've been doing my own research and looking into what they got. I really enjoy some of the apparel they got on here. Like I said, I got an original right now on. Let me see. Let me show it to you. The Boom Shakalaka Jam printed cotton t-shirt. Like I said, I got on the black one today. I'm probably wear the white one tomorrow. Let me see what other one I like. Yeah, I like this one too. That's just because my Grand Theft Auto character, I used to wear this all the time, this little monkey hat. Yeah. That's right. So y'all go check out monkc.com for yourself. See if you like something. I'll have that affiliate link here soon, so y'all can go and buy stuff, get a special discount under my affiliate link. But that's it for today, and I will check y'all out tomorrow on Financial Fridays. This has been DGTA TV. Y'all out later.